What if I told you that psychologists figured out a way to force any two strangers to fall in love in less than an hour? It sounds like an internet hoax or a cheap Hollywood cliché, but it is actually the result of a terrifyingly successful behavioral experiment that completely broke the rules of human intimacy. This is the true story of how 36 questions forced two total strangers to do the unthinkable. The year was 1997. Inside a quiet research lab at Stony Brook University, New York, a psychologist named Dr. Aron wanted to see if deep human connection could be reverse engineered. He took a man and a woman who had never met, sat them face to face in an empty room, and handed them a list of 36 specific questions divided into 3 escalating stages. The first stage started out easy, almost like a game. They asked each other things like, "Would you like to be famous?" or, "Before making a telephone call, do you ever rehearse what you are going to say?" It seemed harmless, but by stage 2 the psychological trap began to tighten. The questions forced them to strip away their social masks, asking things like, "What is the greatest accomplishment of your life?" and "What does friendship mean to you?" By this point, their psychological defenses were completely down. Then came stage 3, the final, brutal level of vulnerability. They had to ask each other things most people don't even share with their own family. Questions like, "What is your most terrible memory? If you were to die this evening with no opportunity to communicate with anyone, what would you most regret not having told someone?" And finally, share a personal problem and ask your partner's advice on how they would handle it. The genius behind these 36 questions was that they were meticulously engineered to dismantle the brain's defense mechanisms. In less than 45 minutes, these two strangers shared a level of vulnerability that normally takes years to build. But the most intense test was yet to come. Once the questions ended, the final instruction began. They had to sit in total unbroken silence and look directly into each other's eyes for 4 solid minutes without looking away. No talking. Just staring. In psychology, prolonged eye contact like this triggers a massive rush of oxytocin, forcing your brain to see your own soul in the other person. Most people assumed the experiment ended there. They shook hands and went home. But just 6 months later, Dr. Aron and his entire research team were absolutely stunned when those two exact strangers invited the lab staff to their wedding. They proved that love isn't just a random twist of fate, it is a science of extreme intimacy. So would you ever dare to ask someone these 36 questions? Just be careful, because the answers might change your life forever. If you want to dive deeper into the hidden science of human connection, hit that subscribe button.